Have you ever wondered if the mind holds the power to heal the body? Centuries ago, Siddhartha Gautama, the founder of Buddhism, shared a profound insight. Every human being is the author of their own health or disease. This truth forms the foundation of Buddhism's understanding, a belief that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions have a direct impact on our well-being. Today, we explore the transformative power of the mind through the journey of a man named Arun. Arun led a life that, from the outside, appeared to be the epitome of success. He had climbed the corporate ladder steadily, securing a stable and well-paying job in a prominent financial firm. His colleagues admired his work ethic, and his supervisors often praised him for his dedication and problem-solving skills. With his income, he was able to provide a comfortable lifestyle for his family, living in a spacious home, in a quiet neighborhood, driving a luxury car, and going on vacations to scenic destinations. His family was loving and supportive. His wife, Priya, was a compassionate and understanding partner, and they shared a deep bond built over years of companionship. They had two bright and cheerful children whose laughter filled their home, adding warmth and joy to his life. On the surface, everything seemed perfect. Arun had checked all the boxes that society often equates with happiness and fulfillment. However, beneath this polished exterior, Arun's reality was far from the picture of contentment it appeared to be. He was constantly plagued by an overwhelming sense of stress and anxiety. The demands of his job felt relentless. Each day was a race against time, filled with deadlines, high-stakes decisions, and pressure to outperform both his competitors and his past achievements. As he navigated through the maze of responsibilities at work, he often felt like he was treading water, struggling to keep his head above the flood of tasks and expectations. His mind was never at rest, always racing with thoughts of the next task or worry, even during moments that were supposed to be joyful and relaxing, like family dinners or weekends at home. The very achievements that were supposed to bring him pride now felt like burdens weighing him down, adding to the sense that he was caught in a never-ending cycle of stress. Over time, the mental strain began to take a toll on his physical health. Once energetic and enthusiastic, Arun now found himself struggling with chronic fatigue that left him feeling exhausted from the moment he woke up. His body, which had once been strong and capable, now ached with unexplained pains that seemed to travel from one part to another. His back, his shoulders, his legs. The tension in his muscles felt as though it was a permanent fixture, a physical manifestation of the stress and worry he carried. Simple tasks, like getting out of bed or going for a walk, became increasingly difficult, and he often felt drained, as if life itself had lost its vibrancy. The fatigue was not just physical, it was emotional and mental, creating a cloud of exhaustion that seemed to follow him wherever he went. Despite his best efforts to push through, Arun felt a growing sense of emptiness, a void that his professional achievements and material comforts could not fill. Seeking relief, Arun visited doctors and specialists, hoping for a solution that could alleviate his symptoms. He underwent a series of medical tests, each one resulting in vague conclusions or inconclusive results. Physicians prescribed medications, some to help with his pain, others to manage his anxiety. For a while, these provided temporary relief, but the effects were short-lived, and the side effects often added to his discomfort. He tried various therapies and treatments, from physiotherapy for his body aches to mindfulness apps designed to help with his stress. But nothing seemed to address the root cause of his suffering. It was as if his symptoms were the branches of a deeper issue that none of the treatments could reach. As the months turned into years, Arun felt increasingly trapped, as though he was living on autopilot, going through the motions of his daily life without ever finding a sense of real peace or fulfillment. The more he sought solutions, the more elusive they seemed to become. Arun's life, once filled with ambition and purpose, now felt like a maze with no exit. He began to question everything. Was this what life was meant to be? A constant battle against fatigue and stress, despite having all the material comforts one could wish for. The sense of emptiness gnawed at him, growing larger with each passing day. Even in moments when he was surrounded by loved ones, he felt a profound sense of isolation, as if he was the only one unable to connect to the joy and contentment that others seemed to experience so effortlessly. The cheerful laughter of his children, which once filled him with pride and happiness, now served as a painful reminder of the peace and fulfillment he longed for, but couldn't seem to find. Despite his best efforts, the gap between his outer world, the one that everyone saw, and his inner reality continued to widen. Arun found himself caught between maintaining the facade of success and confronting the turmoil that lay hidden beneath. The fatigue and pain that had initially come in waves now felt like a permanent state, dragging him down each day. Each doctor's visit, each new prescription, and each attempt at self-help seemed to add to his frustration, deepening the sense that something fundamental was missing from his life. It was as though he was missing the key to unlocking a true sense of well-being, and until he found it, he would remain trapped in a cycle of endless stress, pain, and discontent. One evening after another long, exhausting day filled with meetings, deadlines, and the constant hum of city life, Arun felt an overwhelming urge to escape. The walls of his apartment felt suffocating, the sounds of traffic and city lights too harsh for his already troubled mind. He decided to take a walk, letting his feet guide him without any destination in mind. As he wandered through the city, he found himself drawn to a quiet park, a small oasis tucked away from the bustling streets. The park, with its towering trees, the gentle rustle of leaves, and the soothing sound of a distant fountain, felt like a different world, one untouched by the chaos of modern life. Arun wandered deeper into the park, the cool breeze brushing against his face as he walked along a path surrounded by flowers and tall grasses swaying gently in the wind. He felt a slight sense of relief as the sounds of nature slowly replaced the noise of the city. The stillness was a stark contrast to the rush of his everyday life, and for the first time in a long while, he felt a flicker of calm. He found a bench beneath an old oak tree, its branches spreading wide as if offering shelter. Arun sat down, closing his eyes, and tried to focus on the sounds around him, the chirping of crickets, the distant rustle of leaves, the gentle murmur of the breeze. As he sat in silence, lost in his thoughts, he noticed an elderly monk walking slowly along the path, his pace unhurried, his movements graceful. The monk wore simple robes, and his eyes, though old, carried a twinkle of youthfulness, an energy that seemed untouched by time. Arun watched as the monk stopped near the bench and paused, as if sensing his presence. The monk's calm demeanor, his quiet smile, and the peaceful aura he seemed to radiate were magnetic. Arun felt compelled to speak to him, as if he had known him for a long time, even though they were strangers. "Good evening," Arun began, his voice soft and tentative. The monk turned, offering a warm smile and a nod of acknowledgement. Encouraged by the monk's welcoming gaze, Arun found himself opening up in a way he hadn't done with anyone else. He began to share his struggles, his constant stress, the anxiety that gripped him day and night, and the emptiness that had settled deep within his heart. He spoke of his efforts to find relief through work, through success, and through the many treatments and therapies he had tried, all of which had left him feeling even more lost. The monk listened intently, his expression one of deep empathy and understanding. When Arun finally fell silent, the monk nodded thoughtfully and said, "It looks like you carry many burdens, but have you ever considered that it is not life you need to control, but your own mind?" His words were gentle but powerful, cutting through the noise of Arun's thoughts like a clear bell. Arun stared at the monk, the simplicity of the statement leaving him momentarily speechless. The monk continued, "We spend so much time trying to control the world around us, our jobs, our relationships, our circumstances, believing that if we can just get everything right, we will find peace. But true peace does not come from outside, it comes from within. It is not the world that must be changed, but our way of seeing it." Arun felt a stirring inside him, a sense of curiosity he hadn't felt in years. "But how?" he asked. "How do I change my mind when it feels like everything around me is pulling me in different directions?" The monk smiled gently. "It starts with awareness. The mind is like a restless river, constantly flowing and changing direction. You cannot force it to be still, but you can learn to observe it, to understand its nature, and in time find peace within the current." The monk's words resonated with Arun, and for a moment he felt a glimpse of something beyond his struggles, a sense of hope. "I want to learn more," Arun said. "How do I begin?" The monk's eyes lit up with a twinkle. "Come to the temple tomorrow," he said. "There, we will begin the journey to understanding the mind." With that, the monk offered Arun a nod and continued his walk down the path, disappearing into the shadows of the trees. As Arun watched him leave, he felt a spark of hope that he hadn't felt in years. The monk's words lingered in his mind, echoing as he made his way back home, feeling lighter than he had in a long time. The idea that he didn't need to control everything, that the peace he sought might be found by looking inward, planted a seed of curiosity and wonder within him, a seed that he knew he needed to nurture. Intrigued by the monk's words, Arun couldn't shake off the sense that he had stumbled upon something significant, something that could change the course of his life. The next morning, he woke up with a sense of anticipation, feeling a pull to visit the temple the monk had mentioned. Leaving behind the familiar routines of his day, he set off on a journey that felt strangely new, yet deeply familiar. As he walked through the narrow, winding streets leading to the temple, he felt a growing sense of calm, as if each step was shedding a layer of the burdens he had been carrying. The temple, when he finally reached it, was a place of simple beauty. It stood surrounded by a lush garden, where the air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the sound of birds singing. The temple itself, with its carved wooden doors and gently swaying prayer flags, felt like a sanctuary, a place removed from the chaos of the city. Arun entered quietly, feeling a sense of reverence and awe. The elderly monk greeted him with a warm smile and invited him to sit on a cushion in the meditation hall. The hall was spacious and serene, with sunlight streaming through open windows, casting soft patterns of light and shadow across the floor. Arun felt a wave of tranquility wash over him, as if the temple's stillness had seeped into his very bones. The monk sat across from him and began to speak. He introduced Arun to the teachings of the Buddha, explaining that the Buddha's path was not just about spirituality, but about understanding the nature of the mind and transforming suffering into peace. The Buddha taught that our minds are not merely passive observers of life, the monk said, but active participants in shaping our reality. Our thoughts, emotions, and actions have power. They create the world we live in. Arun listened intently as the monk delved deeper into Buddhist philosophy, explaining the concept of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Our actions and thoughts influence this cycle, the monk explained. Every thought you have, every action you take, leaves a mark. The mind is like a garden. It must be tended carefully. If you plant seeds of anger, fear, or desire, they grow into suffering. But if you cultivate seeds of peace, compassion, and understanding, they will flourish, transforming your life. The monk went on to describe how deeply interconnected the mind and body were. He explained that the stress and negativity Arun had been experiencing were not separate from his physical ailments. They were directly influencing his health. When the mind is in turmoil, the body reacts, the monk said. Anxiety and anger flood the body with chemicals that wear it down. Your fatigue, your pain, these are reflections of the storms within. Arun felt a sense of clarity as the monk spoke. For the first time, he began to see how his thoughts and emotions were not just fleeting, intangible experiences, but real forces shaping his health and well-being. The monk continued, teaching him that the practice of mindfulness was the first step towards reclaiming control over his mind and, in turn, his life. By becoming aware of your thoughts without judgment, you can begin to understand their patterns and let go of those that cause harm. The monk's words were like a light in the darkness, illuminating parts of Arun's life he had never truly seen before. He realized that his mind, which he had always seen as a burden filled with worries and fears, was actually a powerful tool, one that he could train and transform. The teachings felt like a map, showing him a path out of the maze of suffering he had been trapped in for so long. The monk invited him to stay for a meditation session where he would begin the process of calming and observing his mind. Arun felt both nervous and excited as he agreed. He knew this was the beginning of a journey that might change everything. The monk guided Arun through his first meditation session, leading him to sit comfortably on a cushion in the quiet temple hall. The monk's voice was gentle and steady as he instructed Arun to close his eyes and bring his awareness to the simple act of breathing. Feel the breath as it enters and leaves your body, he said. Notice the sensation of air passing through your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then leaving again. Arun did as he was told, but almost immediately his mind began to wander. Thoughts of work, family, and lingering worries crept in, pulling his attention away from his breath. Frustrated, he opened his eyes, but the monk smiled reassuringly. "This is natural," the monk explained. "The mind is like a restless monkey, always jumping from one branch to another. But with patience and practice, you can train it to stay still, even if only for a moment." The monk's words offered Arun comfort, and he closed his eyes again, returning to his breath. At first, it felt like a struggle, as if every breath was an effort against the tidal wave of thoughts that flooded his mind. But the monk's calm presence helped. He reminded Arun not to fight the thoughts, but to simply observe them and let them pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. "Do not cling to your thoughts," he said. "They are not you. They are just visitors passing through." Over the next few weeks, Arun returned to the temple daily, eager to learn and practice. In the beginning, his sessions felt like a battle. His body would ache from sitting still, and his mind would resist the silence, throwing memories, worries, and plans at him to distract him from the present moment. He often felt discouraged, questioning whether he could ever find the calm and clarity the monk spoke of. But as days turned into weeks, something began to shift. Arun noticed small moments, brief, fleeting, where his mind was quiet. The usual chatter faded, and in its place was a stillness he had never experienced before. It was subtle, like the gentle ripple of water on a pond, but it was there. In these moments, he felt a deep sense of peace, as if all the burdens he carried were lifted, even if only for an instant. Encouraged by these glimpses of tranquility, Arun committed even more deeply to his practice. The monk guided him to explore different forms of meditation. Walking meditation in the temple gardens, where each step was taken with intention and awareness, and body scan meditation, where he focused on each part of his body, releasing tension and connecting mindfully to the present. As Arun continued, he began to notice changes not only in his meditation sessions, but in his daily life. He felt less reactive, less burdened by stress, and more present with his family. The fatigue that once weighed heavily on him started to lift, and the pain that had been a constant companion began to ease. Each time he felt tension rise, he remembered the monk's words and returned to his breath, finding solace in the simplicity of the practice. What once felt like a struggle now felt like a refuge. The temple became his sanctuary, a place where he could connect with himself on a deeper level. Slowly, Arun's perception of life shifted. The things that once seemed overwhelming, the pressures of work, the responsibilities at home, no longer felt like burdens. He saw them for what they were, opportunities to practice mindfulness and presence. The monk's teachings, which once seemed abstract, now became the guiding principles of his life. With each passing day, Arun found longer moments of stillness in his meditations. The once restless monkey mind began to calm, and he discovered that, in these moments of silence, there was a sense of joy. A pure, uncomplicated feeling of being alive. It was a peace that he hadn't known was possible, and it began to fill not just his meditation sessions, but his entire life. The path ahead still required dedication and practice, but Arun felt for the first time that he was truly on the journey towards healing and understanding himself. Over time, Arun discovered a profound truth. His thoughts and emotions were not fixed or permanent. They were like clouds passing across the sky, ever changing, never the same for long. This realization came through his deepening practice of vipassana, or insight meditation, which the monk had introduced to him as the next step in his journey. Vipassana required Arun to observe his thoughts and feelings without judgment or attachment, a skill that didn't come easily at first. Each session revealed layers of his habitual responses, patterns of stress, fear, and negativity that he had been carrying for years. At first, watching these thoughts felt overwhelming, like facing an uncontrollable storm within his mind. Memories from the past, anxieties about the future, and self-doubt surfaced with intensity. Arun often felt the urge to react, to engage with these thoughts, but the monk's teachings echoed in his mind. Observe, but do not grasp. See them for what they are, temporary and fleeting. Slowly, Arun began to practice detachment, watching his emotions rise and fall without becoming ensnared by them. He saw anger transform into sadness, and sadness into calm, each emotion shifting like waves on the ocean. As days turned into months, Arun noticed a remarkable transformation. The patterns that once felt like chains began to unravel. The stress that had knotted his body and mind started to loosen, and a clarity emerged, a clarity that revealed how deeply connected his mental and physical states were. Arun became aware of how his negative thoughts created tension in his muscles, how worry brought heaviness to his chest, and how anger sparked pain in his stomach. He saw these connections clearly for the first time, but more importantly, he noticed that when he let go of these thoughts, when he allowed them to pass without resistance, his body responded positively. The headaches that had plagued him for years started to fade, and the tightness in his shoulders eased. Even his breathing became deeper, more relaxed. It was as if his body was mirroring the peace he was cultivating in his mind. Vipassana taught him that he was not at the mercy of his thoughts. He could observe them and let them go, creating a ripple effect of healing throughout his entire being. Yet Arun's journey of transformation didn't end in the quiet meditation hall. The monk, seeing Arun's progress, began to teach him the art of mindfulness, bringing awareness to each moment, not just during meditation, but in every action of daily life. Arun learned to be present as he ate, truly tasting each bite and appreciating the food before him. He practiced mindful walking, feeling the ground beneath his feet and the rhythm of his steps, connecting with each moment as it unfolded. Even at work, he applied this mindfulness, focusing on the task at hand rather than worrying about the next deadline or rehashing past mistakes. This practice of mindfulness became a gateway for Arun to experience life in a new way. He started to let go of the constant chatter in his mind about what he should have done differently or what he feared might happen. Each time his thoughts tried to pull him into the past or the future, he returned to his breath, anchoring himself in the present moment. Slowly but surely, his perception of life began to shift. What once felt like a heavy burden, the endless responsibilities and worries, now felt lighter. He found himself laughing more with his family, enjoying the simple pleasures of a cup of tea, or feeling gratitude for the warmth of the sun on his skin. As he shed the invisible weight of his worries, something remarkable happened. His chronic fatigue, which had been a constant presence in his life, began to dissipate. The exhaustion that once drained his energy transformed into a sense of lightness and vitality. Arun felt as if he were finally stepping out of a dark shadow and into the light of a new day. His body, once weighed down by the burdens of the mind, now felt energized and alive. This new way of living didn't just change how Arun felt physically, it transformed his entire outlook on life. He saw challenges not as sources of stress, but as opportunities to practice presence and acceptance. Every day he continued his meditation and mindfulness practices, knowing that each moment he spent cultivating awareness was a step toward greater freedom and peace. With each breath, he felt himself growing, healing, and embracing life with a renewed sense of purpose and joy. The monk also introduced Arun to a practice called loving-kindness meditation, or metta, a cornerstone of Buddhist compassion training. In these sessions, Arun was taught to repeat simple phrases beginning with, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease." The monk encouraged him to focus these affirmations first on himself, cultivating a sense of self-compassion and acceptance that had been foreign to him for so long. At first, Arun struggled with the practice. Extending kindness toward himself felt strange, and the idea of extending those same wishes to others, especially those who had hurt or disappointed him, seemed nearly impossible. His heart was heavy with unresolved anger, and the scars of past grievances weighed on him. Despite these initial challenges, Arun continued the practice, repeating the phrases daily with as much sincerity as he could muster. Weeks turned into months, and slowly he noticed a shift in his perspective. As he repeated, "May I be happy, may I be healthy, may I live with ease," he began to genuinely feel the warmth of these wishes. When the monk guided him to extend these sentiments beyond himself, first to loved ones, then to neutral people, and finally to those he felt resentment towards, Arun felt a deep resistance, like hitting a wall within himself. But with persistence and the monk's gentle encouragement, he began to visualize these individuals in his mind's eye, and he repeated, "May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you live with ease." Over time, a profound transformation took place. The anger and bitterness he had held onto for so long started to dissolve. He felt a new sense of lightness, as if releasing these negative emotions had unburdened his soul. Arun realized that forgiveness wasn't about excusing the past or condoning wrongs. It was about freeing himself from the chains that had kept him stuck in suffering. The more he practiced, the more empathy and compassion he felt, even toward those who had wronged him. With this release, the physical tightness he often felt in his chest and shoulders began to fade. His body, once tense and filled with pain, started to soften and feel at ease. The transformation didn't stop there. The monk encouraged Arun to embrace the community aspect of his practice, inviting him to participate in group meditation sessions at the temple. Initially, Arun felt nervous, unsure if he belonged in such a sacred space among seasoned practitioners. But as he joined these sessions, sitting quietly among others who shared similar struggles and aspirations, he felt a sense of belonging he hadn't experienced before. Sharing his own experiences and listening to the stories of others opened his heart even further. He realized that he was not alone. His journey of healing was mirrored in those around him. These group meditations became a powerful experience for Arun. The collective energy of the group amplified each member's practice, creating a sense of unity that transcended individual efforts. The monk explained that when people meditate together, their energies merge, often helping each person to reach a deeper state of tranquility than they might achieve alone. Arun felt this deeply. Moments of clarity and peace during group sessions were more profound and lasting. The support system that developed among the group strengthened his commitment, showing him that healing was not only an individual pursuit, but also a communal one. He saw firsthand the power of shared intention, the way collective focus could elevate his own practice and deepen his sense of peace. As Arun's understanding deepened, the monk shared more teachings about the intricate connection between the mind and body. He explained that negative mental states like stress, anger, and fear could act as toxins in the body, disrupting the natural flow of energy and leading to physical ailments. Chronic stress, he explained, weakens the immune system, leaving the body vulnerable to disease, while emotions like resentment or hatred can manifest as chronic pain or digestive issues. Arun began to recognize how his own past patterns of worry and resentment had taken a toll on his health. He recalled the years of fatigue, the lingering aches that no doctor could fully explain, and he saw clearly how these were not isolated symptoms, but manifestations of his inner turmoil. Conversely, the monk taught, cultivating positive mental states such as gratitude, compassion, and peace could have the opposite effect, enhancing one's well-being and even promoting physical healing. Practices like metta-meditation, gratitude journaling, and mindfulness were not just spiritual exercises. They were practical, scientifically supported tools for improving health. The more Arun practiced these methods, the more he felt their effects. As he focused on gratitude, he felt his energy increase. As he practiced mindfulness, his focus sharpened, and the clarity of his thoughts became more consistent. Arun began to see that the teachings of the Buddha were not distant spiritual ideals, but practical guidelines for a healthier, happier life. With this new understanding, Arun integrated these practices into every aspect of his life. He made gratitude a daily habit, beginning and ending each day by listing things he was thankful for, from the sunlight filtering through the trees to the simple meal on his plate. The more he practiced, the more he realized how much there was to be grateful for, and this sense of abundance filled his days with joy. Arun also started to approach challenges at work with mindfulness, noticing how his reactions to stress had changed. What once would have triggered anxiety now became opportunities to practice calm and presence. Each time he felt the familiar tension rising, he returned to his breath, grounding himself in the present moment. The physical changes were undeniable. Arun's sleep improved, his chronic fatigue lifted, and he felt his body regain the vitality it had once known. The headaches that had plagued him disappeared, and even his digestion improved as the knots of worry untangled themselves. Every day he felt himself growing healthier and happier, a living testament to the mind-body connection the monk had taught him about. Through these practices, Arun's life transformed. He no longer felt like he was merely surviving each day. He felt truly alive, connected to himself, others, and the world around him. His healing journey became a path of ongoing discovery, one that revealed deeper layers of peace and wisdom with every step he took. He saw that the true essence of the teachings was not to escape suffering, but to transform it, using each moment as an opportunity to grow and find freedom. And with every breath, he felt himself aligning more with the truth of his own being, a place of calm, strength, and infinite possibility. The monk also guided Arun through a variety of powerful techniques, one of which was visualization meditation. During these sessions, Arun was encouraged to close his eyes and imagine a warm, golden light enveloping his body, flowing from the top of his head to the tips of his toes. He visualized this light bathing every part of his body, particularly areas of pain and tension, bringing warmth, comfort, and healing. At first, it felt like a simple exercise, but as Arun practiced it daily, he noticed a profound shift. The light, which started as a mere image in his mind, began to feel real. He felt its warmth spread through his muscles, and the tension that once gripped his shoulders and back gradually eased. As he deepened his practice, he harnessed the power of his mind to direct this golden light toward any discomfort he experienced. Over time, he noticed that the aches and pains that had troubled him for years significantly diminished. The visualization practice became a powerful tool for Arun, showing him how his mind could influence his physical state. Physical practices also became a critical part of Arun's transformation. The monk introduced him to Tai Chi and yoga, ancient forms of moving meditation designed to create harmony between body and mind. In the beginning, Arun struggled with the slow, deliberate movements of Tai Chi, finding it challenging to balance his focus on each motion and maintain a sense of calm. However, as he persisted, he discovered a rhythm that resonated with him. He felt the flow of energy or qi moving through his body as he shifted between postures. Each movement became an opportunity to connect with his breath, and as he synchronized his breath with his actions, he felt a sense of unity he had never experienced before. Yoga, too, became a means for him to connect his physical and mental realms. Through each pose, he learned to balance strength with softness, effort with relaxation. These practices were no longer just exercises for fitness, they were meditative rituals that allowed him to explore the balance within himself. As a result, he felt his energy flow more freely, and his body, once sluggish, was now revitalized with a newfound vitality and flexibility. Another essential practice that Arun integrated into his daily life was mindful eating. The monk emphasized that eating should be a conscious act, a moment to connect with the nourishment that sustains us. Arun began to slow down during meals, truly savoring each bite. He noticed the colors, the textures, the smells, and the flavors of his food, as if experiencing them for the first time. He thought about where each ingredient came from, the hands that prepared it, and the journey it took to reach his plate. This practice of mindfulness transformed the simple act of eating into a deeply spiritual and sensory experience. By fully engaging in each meal, he developed a sense of gratitude for the food that nourished his body, and he became more aware of the choices he made. No longer rushing through meals or eating out of habit, Arun found himself naturally gravitating toward healthier, more balanced options. This conscious approach to eating not only nourished his body, but also nurtured his mind, reducing his stress around food and fostering a sense of appreciation for the interconnectedness of life. The monk also taught Arun the transformative power of positive thinking and gratitude. Arun began incorporating these practices into his daily routine. Each morning, he set aside a few quiet moments to list 3 things he was grateful for, small things, like the warmth of the sun on his skin or the sound of birds chirping outside his window. These small acts of gratitude shifted his perspective. Instead of focusing on what he lacked, he began to see the abundance in his life, however simple it might be. In the evenings, he practiced positive affirmations, repeating phrases like, "I am healthy, I am at peace, and I am enough." These affirmations, when repeated daily, helped rewire his mindset. Over time, his focus on abundance rather than scarcity led him to a place of deeper contentment. The shift from stress and worry to gratitude and positivity had a profound impact, not just on his mind, but also on his body. Arun's immune function improved, his energy levels rose, and he felt physically and emotionally more resilient. This newfound positive outlook helped him recover more effectively from minor illnesses and maintain a stable sense of well-being. Throughout his journey, Arun encountered challenges that tested his commitment to these new practices. There were moments when stress and old habits crept back in, making him doubt the path he had chosen. Yet each time he faced these obstacles, the monk's teachings provided him with a new perspective. The monk reminded him that pain, difficulty, and discomfort were inevitable parts of life. The key was not to avoid them, but to change his relationship with them. With this understanding, Arun saw these challenges as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks. He learned that the moments of struggle were when he could deepen his practice the most. To manage stress and regulate his emotions, Arun incorporated breathing exercises into his daily routine. He practiced diaphragmatic breathing, which involved taking slow, deep breaths, filling his lungs completely before releasing the air with gentle exhalations. At first, it felt awkward, but soon he noticed how his body and mind responded. This simple act of conscious breathing helped him create a calm space within himself, one he could return to whenever anxiety threatened to overwhelm him. He also learned alternate nostril breathing, a technique designed to balance the body's energy and calm the mind. By closing one nostril and breathing through the other in a rhythmic pattern, Arun found that he could quickly center himself, even during moments of intense stress. These techniques not only provided immediate relief, but also improved his overall sleep quality. Nights that were once filled with restless thoughts became opportunities for deep, restorative sleep. Arun's commitment to these practices transformed his life. He no longer saw himself as a victim of stress or circumstances, but as an active participant in his own well-being. His journey was not just about alleviating pain or finding fleeting moments of peace. It was about discovering a way of living that allowed him to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace. The practices he learned, visualization, Tai Chi, yoga, mindful eating, and breathing techniques, became lifelong tools he could rely on. With each day, he felt himself becoming more resilient, more at ease, and more connected to the world around him. Arun's journey was a testament to the power of Buddhist teachings and the incredible capacity of the mind and body to heal when guided with intention and mindfulness. As Arun's practice deepened, he began to integrate visualization techniques more profoundly into his daily life. Each morning he would sit quietly, close his eyes, and imagine his immune cells as vigilant, powerful warriors patrolling his body. He visualized them moving with strength and purpose, seeking out and eliminating any threats, healing areas of discomfort, and strengthening his immune response. This vivid imagery empowered him, making him feel in control of his health in a way he had never felt before. He also began to visualize peaceful scenes whenever stress or anxiety crept into his mind. Sometimes it was the image of a quiet beach, where the gentle waves met the shore, the sun casting a warm glow over the sand. Other times it was the vision of a serene forest, where tall trees swayed softly in the breeze, and the sound of birds singing created a soothing, natural melody. These visualizations became his refuge, a place he could return to in moments of tension, allowing him to maintain a state of calm and balance. Over time, these practices not only provided him with immediate relief, but also significantly supported his overall health, as his body responded positively to the calming influence of his mind. Understanding the impact of modern distractions on his well-being, Arun also embraced the practice of a digital detox. He realized that the constant use of electronic devices was overstimulating his mind and disrupting his natural rhythms. Determined to create a healthier routine, he set a strict boundary: No screens an hour before bed. Instead of scrolling through his phone or watching television, he spent this time in quiet reflection or reading a book. Some nights he practiced gentle stretching or breathing exercises to prepare his body for sleep. By aligning himself with the natural rhythms of the day, allowing darkness and stillness to signal the transition into rest, he noticed profound changes. His sleep, once restless and interrupted, became deeper and more restorative. His energy levels improved, and he woke up feeling refreshed and ready to start each new day with a clear and focused mind. As the months went by, Arun's entire life began to transform in ways he never imagined possible. The chronic stress and pain that had once weighed heavily on him faded into the background, replaced by a deep sense of peace, clarity, and purpose. He no longer felt like a passive victim of his circumstances. Instead, he saw himself as an empowered individual, capable of shaping his own reality. The teachings of Buddhism had become a guiding light, illuminating the path toward true well-being. By cultivating mindfulness, Arun learned to live in the present moment, free from the burdens of the past and the anxieties of the future. He practiced compassion, not just towards others but also towards himself, recognizing that self-care was a vital part of his healing journey. The practice of loving-kindness meditation helped him develop a sense of empathy that extended beyond his own circle, deepening his connection with the world around him. This expanded sense of compassion gave his life new meaning and purpose. Positive thinking also played a crucial role in reshaping Arun's mindset. By focusing on gratitude, affirmations, and visualizations, he shifted his narrative from one of stress and limitation to one of abundance and possibility. His mind, once a battleground of worry and negativity, became a garden of peaceful thoughts and uplifting emotions. This transformation in his mental landscape led to tangible changes in his physical health. His immune system, once compromised by chronic stress, became robust and resilient. His energy levels soared, and he found himself more engaged, productive, and joyful in every aspect of his life. Arun's journey taught him that healing was not a quick fix or a temporary solution, but a lifelong practice. It was about nurturing the mind, body, and spirit with equal care, ensuring that each aspect of his being was aligned and in harmony. He learned that the practices he had adopted, meditation, visualization, physical movement, mindful eating, and gratitude, were not separate techniques but interconnected parts of a holistic approach to well-being. Each practice supported the other, creating a foundation of health that was sustainable and fulfilling. In the end, Arun realized that the teachings of Buddhism had guided him back to himself. He had not found peace outside of himself or through external means, but within the depths of his own mind and heart. His journey was not about becoming someone new, but about uncovering the wisdom and strength that had always been within him. By embracing the path of mindfulness, compassion, and positive thinking, he had not only transformed his health, but also reshaped the entire narrative of his life, finding a deep sense of fulfillment and joy in the simple, present moment. Arun realized that the journey wasn't about reaching a final destination, but about embracing each moment with openness and acceptance. He came to understand that life is not a linear path, but a continuous flow of experiences, some joyful, some challenging. Through the transformative practices he had learned, meditation, mindfulness, loving kindness, and visualization, he discovered a way to shift his perspective, turning what once felt like burdens into opportunities for growth. His life, which had been dominated by struggle and stress, slowly became a tapestry of balance and harmony. Every day, Arun woke up with a sense of gratitude, knowing that each moment was a chance to practice, to learn, and to deepen his understanding of himself and the world around him. As Arun continues to walk this path, he embraces the understanding that healing is not a one-time event, but an ongoing, evolving journey. It requires patience, the discipline to practice consistently, and the courage to look within, even when faced with discomfort. There are days when he feels challenged, when old patterns of stress and anxiety try to resurface, but he now possesses the tools to navigate these moments with grace. He returns to his breath, to the present moment, allowing himself to observe these feelings without judgment. This practice, he realizes, is a lifelong commitment to himself, a promise to continue nurturing his mind, body, and spirit. Arun's story serves as a powerful reminder that the power to heal and thrive exists within each of us. It is not something external or unattainable. It is a force waiting to be unlocked by our own intention and practice. The teachings of Buddhism offer a pathway, guiding us to recognize that our mind is not merely a passive observer, but an active participant in shaping our reality. By transforming our thoughts, we hold the power to transform our lives, cultivating not only physical health, but also a profound sense of inner well-being and fulfillment. The journey starts with a single breath, a step toward understanding the deep and intrinsic connection between mind, body, and spirit. As Arun continues to breathe with awareness, he knows that every inhale and exhale is a step forward on the path of self-discovery and healing. He understands now that every moment is an opportunity to transform, to let go of what no longer serves him, and to embrace the infinite potential that lies within. With each breath, he moves closer to the truth that peace, health, and happiness are not distant goals but states of being that he can cultivate within himself, moment by moment. Arun's story shows that while life may be filled with challenges, it is also full of the potential for transformation. The practices of mindfulness, compassion, and meditation are the keys to unlocking this potential, allowing us to navigate life with a sense of purpose, balance, and joy. As he walks forward, Arun knows that he is not alone. He is part of a vast and timeless tradition that has guided countless others toward a life of peace and fulfillment. The journey, he realizes, is the destination itself, an ongoing dance between the mind, body, and spirit, leading him ever closer to a state of unity, harmony, and inner peace. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the expectations and demands of others. We often find ourselves seeking validation, approval, and a sense of belonging through our relationships, careers, or material possessions. The pressure to meet societal standards can be overwhelming, pushing us further away from our authentic selves. We chase after things that we believe will bring us happiness, yet find that these external sources often leave us feeling empty or unfulfilled. The constant need for approval and recognition becomes a cycle that traps us, making it difficult to pause and ask, what truly makes me happy? What do I value beyond the noise of society's expectations? But what if the path to true fulfillment and happiness wasn't about looking outward, but inward? What if, instead of constantly seeking external validation, we took the time to explore our own thoughts, emotions, and intentions? Buddhist wisdom teaches that the most profound transformation begins when you shift your focus to yourself, diving deep into your own mind and soul. It's about reconnecting with the essence of who you are beyond the labels and roles that society imposes upon you. This introspection allows you to peel away the layers of societal conditioning and uncover your true nature, one that is inherently peaceful, joyful, and unchanging. By turning inward and understanding who you truly are, you open the door to a life-changing experience that can reshape your entire perception of life. This shift in focus, from the external to the internal, allows you to see that the true source of happiness is not found in things, status, or others' opinions, but within your own mind and heart. You begin to understand that the peace you seek is already there. It's simply been covered up by distractions and misconceptions. As you deepen your practice of self-reflection, you find that the inner journey leads to a profound sense of liberation, freeing yourself from the grip of external circumstances and finding a sense of fulfillment that is independent of what's happening around you. The process of shifting your focus inward is not always easy. It requires courage to face your own thoughts, emotions, and past experiences. It may mean confronting uncomfortable truths about yourself and letting go of long-held beliefs that no longer serve you. However, Buddhist teachings provide the tools and guidance needed to navigate this path with clarity and compassion. Practices like meditation, mindfulness, and self-inquiry allow you to observe your inner world without judgment, creating a space where transformation can happen. As you develop this self-awareness, you gain the ability to detach from the stories your mind creates and instead connect with the essence of who you truly are, beyond all labels, fears, and expectations. Buddhism emphasizes that our sense of identity is often influenced by external factors, our jobs, social circles, and material success. We are conditioned from a young age to seek validation from these sources, believing that achievements, relationships, and wealth will bring us happiness. While these pursuits can provide temporary satisfaction, they often lead to an endless cycle of seeking more, leaving us feeling empty when these external elements inevitably change or fade away. This cycle of attachment and disappointment perpetuates a sense of restlessness as we constantly chase after something outside ourselves to fill an inner void. We may find ourselves wondering why, despite achieving our goals or gaining the approval of others, there remains a lingering sense of incompleteness. The Buddha taught that everything external is impermanent and subject to change, and by understanding this truth, we can free ourselves from the endless pursuit of external validation. When we attach our sense of self-worth to things that are temporary, such as status, possessions, or the opinions of others, we are setting ourselves up for disappointment and suffering. The impermanent nature of these things means that they can never provide the stability or lasting happiness we seek. In contrast, Buddhism encourages turning inward and recognizing that true contentment and peace are not dependent on external conditions, but are found within the stillness and clarity of our own mind. This shift in focus allows us to experience a sense of freedom as we begin to detach from the need for external validation and instead connect with our inner sense of wholeness. Instead, the path to a lasting sense of fulfillment is through self-awareness and self-discovery. When you focus on yourself, you begin to peel away the layers of illusion and uncover your true nature, a nature that is inherently peaceful and whole. This process involves looking beyond the surface-level identities we have adopted over time and seeing ourselves as more than our roles, titles, or social status. It requires a willingness to question the beliefs and assumptions we have carried about ourselves, to see whether they truly align with our authentic self. As you strip away these layers, you begin to discover a sense of self that is not tied to what you do or how others perceive you, but one that is grounded in a deeper understanding of your own being. This journey inward is an opportunity to reconnect with the present moment, to see the world as it is rather than how we want it to be. Through practices like meditation and mindfulness, Buddhism offers tools that help us cultivate self-awareness and detach from the stories our mind creates. By focusing on the breath, observing thoughts without judgment, and becoming aware of the sensations in our body, we start to experience life more fully and directly. This practice of mindful self-awareness allows us to break free from habitual patterns of thinking and feeling, revealing a state of being that is calm, centered, and deeply fulfilling. It's through this ongoing practice of self-reflection that we truly begin to experience the life-changing impact of focusing on ourselves, leading to a state of inner peace that remains steady regardless of external circumstances. The practice of meditation is a central tool in this journey of self-focus. It serves as a gateway to a deeper understanding of your own mind and the hidden dynamics that influence your emotions and actions. In the fast-paced world we live in, our minds are often cluttered with external distractions and internal chatter, making it difficult to find moments of true stillness. Meditation creates a space where you can step back from this noise and reconnect with your inner being. By sitting quietly and observing the flow of your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations, you begin to strip away the layers that cloud your perception. You start to see how your mind clings to certain ideas, how it resists discomfort, and how it continually seeks external validation. This process of self-observation allows you to recognize these patterns as temporary and not inherently tied to your identity. As you continue to meditate, you cultivate a state of awareness that is both gentle and profound. The habitual stories and fears that once seemed so real begin to lose their grip. You might notice how emotions like anger, sadness, or anxiety arise and pass, just like clouds moving across the sky. This realization that emotions are temporary experiences, not fixed aspects of your identity, empowers you to respond to them with compassion and detachment. You learn to witness your mind's reactions without becoming entangled in them, understanding that they are conditioned responses shaped by past experiences, rather than reflections of your true self. This shift in perspective opens up a sense of freedom, as you realize you have the power to choose how you engage with your thoughts and feelings, rather than being controlled by them. Meditation also brings clarity and intention into your life, allowing you to approach situations with a calm and centered mind. When you are no longer caught up in the reactivity of your mind, you create space to respond thoughtfully and with purpose. The clarity that arises from regular meditation practice helps you align your actions with your true values, rather than acting out of habitual patterns or societal pressures. This deepened sense of self-awareness enables you to identify what truly matters to you, fostering a sense of authenticity and fulfillment in your daily life. As you integrate this mindfulness into your routine, you find that your relationships, work, and overall outlook begin to transform. Instead of reacting impulsively or seeking approval from others, you make decisions that reflect your inner truth, leading to a more balanced and meaningful life. Over time, meditation becomes more than just a practice. It becomes a way of living. You carry the stillness and awareness cultivated during meditation into every aspect of your life, from your interactions with others to the way you handle challenges. This consistent practice of self-reflection and detachment helps you stay rooted in the present moment, unshaken by external circumstances. As you deepen your understanding of your own mind, you develop a sense of inner peace that remains resilient amidst life's ups and downs. This state of being allows you to experience the world with a sense of openness and acceptance, free from the constraints of fear, judgment, and attachment. The transformation that meditation brings is not just about finding temporary relief from stress. It is about fundamentally changing the way you relate to yourself and the world, opening the door to a life that is both peaceful and deeply fulfilling. Buddhism also teaches the importance of self-compassion in this journey. Self-compassion is about being kind and understanding toward yourself, especially in moments of difficulty, failure, or suffering. Many people are overly critical of themselves, constantly judging their actions, thoughts, and emotions. This relentless self-criticism often stems from societal expectations or past conditioning and becomes a barrier to true self-discovery and inner peace. It creates an internal conflict where you become your own harshest critic, making it difficult to experience a sense of acceptance and tranquility. The Buddha, understanding this human tendency, encouraged the cultivation of metta or loving kindness, not just toward others, but importantly, toward oneself. Practicing self-compassion means offering yourself the same kindness and care that you would extend to a dear friend, allowing you to move beyond self-judgment and into a space of genuine acceptance. When you begin to integrate self-compassion into your daily life, you start to see your imperfections not as failures, but as natural aspects of the human experience. Buddhism teaches that suffering is an inevitable part of life, and it is our relationship with this suffering that determines whether we find peace or remain trapped in a cycle of discontent. By treating yourself with kindness and understanding during moments of suffering, you create a buffer against the negative self-talk that often fuels anxiety and self-doubt. Self-compassion doesn't mean ignoring mistakes or flaws. Instead, it's about acknowledging them without judgment, learning from them, and then moving forward with a sense of self-care and acceptance. This approach frees you from the heavy burden of perfectionism, allowing you to live with a sense of ease and balance, regardless of external criticism or societal pressures. Self-compassion also fosters a deeper sense of resilience and inner strength. When you shift your focus from self-criticism to self-care, you build an inner foundation that can withstand the challenges and difficulties life presents. Instead of being weighed down by self-blame or shame, you develop the ability to respond to life's ups and downs with grace and understanding. This resilience doesn't mean avoiding pain or discomfort, but facing it with a heart that remains open and kind. As you cultivate this compassionate relationship with yourself, you notice a change in how you respond to others and the world around you. You become more accepting, not only of yourself, but also of the imperfections and struggles of those around you, leading to a greater sense of empathy and connection. This transformation reinforces the idea that by focusing inward and nurturing your own sense of self-compassion, you positively influence the way you interact with others, creating a ripple effect of kindness and understanding. In Buddhism, the practice of self-compassion is deeply intertwined with mindfulness. To truly cultivate compassion for yourself, you must first become aware of your own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without getting caught up in judgment. Mindfulness allows you to observe the patterns of self-criticism as they arise and to respond with gentleness instead of harshness. When you practice mindfulness alongside self-compassion, you create a space where you can hold both your joys and your struggles with equal care. This awareness helps you break free from the habit of criticizing yourself and instead encourages you to respond with patience and kindness. The combination of mindfulness and self-compassion not only nurtures your emotional well-being, but also enhances your capacity for spiritual growth as you begin to experience a sense of wholeness that is not dependent on external validation, but rooted in a deep inner acceptance. This shift empowers you to live authentically, embracing your true self and finding lasting peace within. Focusing on yourself also means taking responsibility for your own happiness, a principle deeply rooted in Buddhist philosophy. In Buddhism, this concept is intricately linked to the practice of karma, which emphasizes that our actions, thoughts, and intentions shape the reality we experience. It's not simply a spiritual notion, but a practical framework for understanding how we contribute to our own suffering or happiness. Rather than placing blame on external circumstances, people, or life events, Buddhism teaches that we hold the power to transform our inner world and, in turn, our outer experience. This approach requires a shift in mindset, from viewing life as something happening to us, to seeing it as something we actively co-create through our choices. When you take ownership of your happiness, you begin to realize that the power to create a life of peace and fulfillment is within you, regardless of external situations. This practice of personal responsibility goes beyond just the idea of karma. It involves a deep, introspective process where you assess the alignment between your actions and your values. Often, people live according to societal norms, expectations, or the influence of others, leading to a disconnection from their true selves. In Buddhism, focusing on yourself means moving away from these external pressures and beginning to cultivate a life that reflects your genuine values and intentions. By consciously choosing actions that resonate with your inner truth, you not only create positive karma, but also build a life of authenticity and integrity. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It involves continuous self-reflection and mindfulness to ensure that each decision you make is rooted in your own sense of purpose, rather than external validation or fear. When you align your actions with your true values and intentions, you create a life that is not only authentic, but deeply fulfilling. This authenticity leads to a sense of wholeness and satisfaction that is stable and enduring because it comes from within, rather than being dependent on changing circumstances or the approval of others. Instead of constantly seeking happiness through external achievements, relationships, or material possessions, you start to find joy in the simplicity of living in harmony with your own principles. This shift in focus brings a profound sense of freedom, as you no longer feel bound to meet others' expectations or to chase temporary pleasures. You become empowered to make choices that serve your own growth and well-being, leading to a more grounded, centered, and fulfilled life. In addition, taking responsibility for your happiness in the Buddhist sense means understanding that growth often comes through challenges. Buddhism teaches that life inevitably includes moments of suffering, but it's our response to these moments that determines whether we grow or remain stuck. When you focus on yourself, you build the resilience to navigate life's difficulties with grace, seeing them as opportunities for self-discovery and transformation rather than sources of victimhood. This perspective allows you to engage with challenges constructively, asking yourself how you can grow from each experience rather than feeling defeated by it. By owning your responses and learning from each situation, you deepen your sense of self-awareness and strengthen your capacity for inner peace. This, in turn, reinforces the understanding that true fulfillment is not about avoiding challenges, but about embracing them as integral parts of your journey toward a more authentic, balanced, and meaningful life. An essential part of this self-focus is understanding the impermanence of life, a central concept in Buddhism known as anicca. This teaching emphasizes that everything in life is temporary: our emotions, possessions, status, and even relationships. Nothing remains the same. Everything is in a constant state of change. By deeply contemplating this truth, you begin to see that the attachment to these fleeting aspects is what causes suffering. When we cling to things, expecting them to provide lasting happiness, we inevitably face disappointment when they change or fade away. Instead, when you focus inward and develop an awareness of life's impermanence, you start to detach from these external sources of validation and pleasure. This detachment doesn't mean withdrawing from life, but rather approaching it with a more balanced and accepting mindset. Knowing that true peace comes from within, this realization of impermanence invites you to live more fully in the present moment, embracing each experience without trying to hold on to it. When you accept that everything is constantly changing, you stop wasting energy on trying to control or resist these natural cycles. Instead, you open yourself to the flow of life, appreciating each moment for what it is, a unique and unrepeatable experience. This shift in perspective can be incredibly liberating, as you no longer feel the pressure to keep things as they are or fear their loss. You become more adaptable and open-minded, seeing the beauty in life's ebb and flow rather than clinging to fixed ideas or outcomes. This freedom allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with a calm and centered mind, finding joy in the simple act of being present. By focusing on the impermanence of everything around you, you also begin to appreciate what truly matters. Instead of getting caught up in the pursuit of temporary pleasures or material gains, you start to value experiences, relationships, and moments that bring genuine joy and fulfillment. You shift your attention from seeking external achievements to cultivating qualities that endure, such as compassion, kindness, and wisdom. This shift doesn't mean abandoning goals or ambitions. Rather, it's about pursuing them with an understanding that they are part of the journey, not the ultimate destination. This awareness brings a sense of purpose and clarity as you align your actions with values that have a lasting impact on your well-being and the well-being of those around you. Focusing on yourself with this awareness of impermanence also helps reduce anxiety and fear. Many of our worries stem from the desire to hold on to things or to prevent change. By embracing impermanence, you let go of the need for control and become more accepting of the natural ebb and flow of life. You start to see challenges and setbacks not as permanent obstacles, but as temporary phases that will pass. This understanding brings a sense of resilience and courage, allowing you to face life's uncertainties with grace. When you are no longer trapped by the fear of change, you open yourself up to new opportunities, experiences, and ways of growth. You realize that the freedom to adapt and transform is what makes life meaningful, and this acceptance becomes a source of strength and inner peace. Equanimity, or upekkha, is a foundational principle in Buddhism, representing a state of inner balance and emotional stability. It's the practice of maintaining a calm and composed mind, regardless of life's fluctuations, enabling you to face both pleasure and pain with an even, undisturbed heart. This state is not about suppressing emotions or becoming indifferent, but about nurturing a deep understanding that all experiences, whether joyful or painful, are temporary. By turning your focus inward and practicing equanimity, you cultivate the strength to remain centered amidst life's inevitable ups and downs. You develop the ability to stand firm like a mountain, unshaken by the winds of change, allowing you to move through life with grace, poise, and clarity. When you cultivate equanimity, you learn to observe your thoughts, emotions, and experiences without becoming entangled in them. This practice is crucial in helping you detach from the highs and lows that can otherwise pull you off balance. Instead of reacting impulsively to situations, you develop the capacity to pause, breathe, and respond mindfully. For instance, when faced with criticism, instead of feeling defensive or hurt, you acknowledge the feedback without letting it disrupt your inner peace. Similarly, in moments of praise or success, you accept the positive feelings but do not become overly attached or dependent on them for your sense of self-worth. This balanced approach helps you navigate life's challenges with a calm, composed mindset, staying rooted in your true nature despite external chaos. Equanimity also fosters resilience, an essential quality for navigating the unpredictability of life. When you practice staying calm in difficult situations, you strengthen your ability to bounce back from adversity. You come to realize that hardships, like all things, are temporary, and this awareness allows you to maintain hope and stability even when things are uncertain. By focusing on developing equanimity, you build an inner foundation that is not easily shaken. You start to view challenges not as threats, but as opportunities for growth and learning. This mindset transforms how you experience difficulties, as you begin to see them as a natural part of life's flow rather than obstacles to your happiness. Moreover, equanimity enhances your relationships with others by allowing you to interact from a place of calm and understanding rather than reactivity. When you maintain your balance, you are better able to listen, empathize, and communicate without letting your emotions cloud your judgment. This practice helps you avoid impulsive reactions that can damage relationships and instead fosters a deeper, more compassionate connection with those around you. By staying centered, you create an environment where you can support others without losing your own sense of stability. In this way, equanimity not only strengthens your inner peace, but also enhances the quality of your interactions and connections with others, contributing to a more harmonious and fulfilling life. Another important practice in Buddhism is mindfulness, a cornerstone of self-awareness and inner growth. Mindfulness involves being fully present in each moment, without judgment or distraction, allowing you to observe your thoughts, emotions, and sensations with clarity. This practice is more than just paying attention to your surroundings. It's about cultivating a deep awareness of your inner world. When you practice mindfulness, you begin to see how often your mind gets caught up in worries about the past or anxieties about the future, pulling you away from the peace that exists in the present moment. By learning to detach from these mental stories, you create space to connect with the reality of now, bringing a sense of calm and focus that empowers you to live more authentically and intentionally. Mindfulness also reveals the habitual patterns of your mind, many of which are rooted in fear, desire, or attachment. When you observe these patterns with awareness, you begin to understand the ways your mind clings to certain thoughts or reacts to situations, often creating unnecessary suffering. For example, you might notice how a single negative thought spirals into a web of self-criticism or anxiety. Through mindfulness, you recognize these tendencies as they arise and learn to step back, allowing these thoughts to pass without becoming attached to them. This detachment doesn't mean you become numb or indifferent. Rather, it empowers you to choose how you respond to your thoughts and emotions, transforming your relationship with them. By practicing mindfulness consistently, you also develop the ability to remain calm and centered, even in challenging situations. When difficulties arise, instead of reacting impulsively or getting overwhelmed, you pause, take a breath, and observe your feelings. This mindful awareness gives you the power to respond with wisdom rather than emotion, ensuring that your actions align with your true values. Over time, this practice becomes a way of life, guiding you to approach every situation with a sense of balance and equanimity. You become less influenced by external circumstances and more attuned to your inner state, finding peace and clarity even amidst the chaos of daily life. Additionally, mindfulness helps you build a deeper connection with yourself, opening the door to greater self-compassion and acceptance. When you practice being present with your thoughts and feelings without judgment, you create a safe space to explore your emotions honestly. You begin to understand that it's natural to experience a range of feelings, and rather than resisting or suppressing them, you allow yourself to sit with them. This acceptance fosters a compassionate attitude toward yourself, recognizing that being human means facing ups and downs. It shifts your focus from self-criticism to self-care, nurturing a deeper, more loving relationship with yourself that enhances your overall well-being and promotes inner peace. Focusing on yourself in the Buddhist sense is far from being an act of selfishness. Rather, it is the foundation for building a life of compassion and service. By understanding your own mind, emotions, and patterns, you gain the clarity needed to approach others with genuine empathy and kindness. When you are aware of your own struggles and have taken steps to heal and grow, You develop a natural compassion for the difficulties others face. This awareness helps you interact with others from a place of understanding rather than judgment, and allows you to offer support that is both authentic and meaningful. It's about creating a stable, peaceful space within yourself so that you can share that energy with the people around you. As you deepen your self-awareness, you start to notice the ways in which your interactions with others mirror your inner state. If you are stressed, anxious, or harboring unresolved emotions, this tension often manifests in your relationships. By focusing on your own well-being, you address these internal conflicts, leading to healthier, more harmonious connections. You become more patient and understanding because you recognize the shared human experience of navigating life's challenges. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, you are able to respond with a calm, balanced presence. In this way, focusing on yourself is not about isolation, but about building the capacity to engage more deeply and meaningfully with others. Moreover, when you take the time to focus on yourself, you develop the ability to set healthy boundaries. Buddhism teaches that while compassion is essential, it must be balanced with wisdom. Knowing your limits and understanding when to say no is crucial for maintaining your well-being. By setting boundaries, you protect your energy, ensuring that you can offer your presence and support without feeling drained or overwhelmed. This creates a sustainable way of living where you can give to others without compromising your own health. When you respect your own needs, you model for others the importance of self-care, inspiring those around you to do the same. This journey of self-focus also cultivates a deeper sense of responsibility and purpose. As you work on yourself, you become more aware of the impact you have on others. You understand that by healing your own wounds and transforming your mindset, you influence the world around you in positive ways. You begin to see your personal growth as a service to humanity. When you cultivate peace and clarity within, you naturally contribute to creating a more peaceful and harmonious environment for others. It's a reminder that the work you do on yourself is not just for you. It's a gift you give to the world, enriching every relationship and interaction with the wisdom and compassion you've developed. Focusing on yourself in the Buddhist sense is about breaking free from the cycles of suffering that arise when we seek happiness outside ourselves. It's an invitation to look beyond the surface of life's distractions, material possessions, social status and fleeting pleasures, and to dive deep into the essence of who you are. By shifting your focus inward, you begin to see through the illusions that create dissatisfaction. You realize that external sources of validation are impermanent and unreliable. The real source of fulfillment lies in your ability to connect with your inner self, where true peace resides. This realization is not about abandoning the world, but rather approaching it with a new perspective, one that is not dependent on what others think or what you have, but on the strength and clarity you cultivate within. As you embark on this journey of focusing inward, you start to unearth the layers of conditioning that have influenced your behavior and emotions for years. You gain insight into how past experiences, fears, and attachments have shaped your perception of yourself and the world around you. By bringing these patterns into awareness, you begin to dismantle them, releasing the hold they have over your life. This process of unlearning and relearning allows you to rebuild your life based on authentic self-awareness, rather than external conditioning. You find freedom in letting go of outdated beliefs and habits that no longer serve you, making room for growth, healing, and transformation. The beauty of focusing on yourself is that it leads to a state of self-sufficiency and resilience. When you no longer depend on others for your sense of worth or happiness, you become empowered to live life on your own terms. You cultivate an inner sanctuary of peace that is unaffected by the storms of life. This doesn't mean you stop caring for others or withdraw from society. Rather, it means that you engage with the world from a place of abundance rather than lack. Your interactions become more genuine because you are no longer seeking anything in return. You give freely, not out of obligation or need, but because you have found a source of fulfillment within yourself that is overflowing. Ultimately, this inward focus transforms your entire approach to life. Instead of being reactive and influenced by the chaos of the world, you become proactive, centered, and clear in your intentions. The Buddhist path teaches that by nurturing your own inner garden, you not only experience the fruits of peace and joy yourself, but also inspire others to find the same. You become a beacon of calm in a turbulent world, showing by example that true liberation is possible when you turn inward. This practice brings a profound sense of purpose, as you understand that the transformation you achieve within has a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself, contributing to a more compassionate, understanding, and peaceful world.